Have you been wondering why you keep taking loss after loss in the market? Well, it might not be your strategy, but actually the time you place trades in the market. In this video, I'm going to reveal the ideal time to trade for someone like you who works a 9-to-5 job. But before we get into that, my name is Gani, a day trader now for 5 years, and I must say mastering the right time to trade was the #1 reason I was actually able to become a profitable trader, to start receiving payouts from prop firms. Now, when it comes to the channel, here my #1 goal is to help 9-to-5 traders fully transition into full-time trading. Now, if you happen to get value from this video, remember to like the video and maybe even share it with someone that is still unprofitable, because trust me, it will be able to help them. And in this same video, I'll be sharing a major tip that, trust me, will change how you trade for you to become a profitable trader. So be sure not to miss out on that. So let's get into the video, shall we? So why does market timing matter? Now, when it comes to Forex, timing is everything, because unlike maybe other markets like the stock market, when it comes to trading the Forex market, yes, it operates 24 hours, but when it comes to these 24 hours, there are periods when the market is kind of dormant, when it's ranging, and other times when it's actually very active. So as someone who works a 9-to-5 job, the time you enter the market actually matters a lot, because this will prevent you from taking unnecessary losses in the market. First on the list is the Asian session. Now, if you're someone that lives, let's say, in the US or maybe Europe or even Africa, you will realize that the Asian session usually happens late in the evenings. So you want to avoid this particular session as much as possible, simply because when it comes to this session, price or the markets usually are consolidating, so there are no big moves in the market. So if you actually happen to enter a trade during these times of the day, trust me, you are going to end up being liquidity of other big players in the market. So you do not want to enter the markets in such a period. For example, if you're trading, let's say, Euro USD or GBP USD, the liquidity and volume during these market hours is very low. So you do not want to be entering the markets during this time, simply because, there are not going to be any big moves in the market. So in my opinion, I advise you stay away from this particular session. Another no-go zone is the midday slump, which usually happens between 12 and 2 p.m. UTC time. So if you're someone, let's say, that is maybe in the UK, this is European time, or if you're in the US, this is between 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So this is time you shouldn't try to place on any trade, because for the European market, most of the times the traders there, they've stepped out for maybe a lunch break, and you do not want to be in the market at this time, simply because there's obviously not going to be any kind of volume in the market. So you don't want to be putting or placing your trades during these specific hours. Trust me, during these times of the day, the market price is very unpredictable. You're going to have very choppy price action, and you do not want to be in the market at this particular period of time. Another period of time, in my opinion, that you should be very keen on, especially if you're to take a trade during this period, is that London overlap into the New York session. This is specifically between midday and 4 p.m. European time. Now, when it comes to this time of the day, so many traders actually, this is the time they want to be in the market. But what this actually presents is that for many of the brokers that we use, they tend to actually widen their spreads. So you do not want to be caught up in this, because you are going to, let's say, place your trade at a particular price level, and then you'll be filled at a different price level. So you do not want to be in the market during this specific time of the day. I don't know if you've noticed, but this is around the same time that major news events actually drop. So when it comes to economic news, this is when it is actually going to be dropping in the market. So if you're, let's say, to take a trade during this time of the day, obviously you might get wicked out. You know, there are so many wrong things that might happen between these times of the day. So you want to stay away from such periods of the day as much as you can. So in my best advice, try and not trade during these times of the day. The other time that I believe you shouldn't be trading, especially according to my experience, is Friday evenings, especially when it comes to the New York session, the evening session or that afternoon session. Try and stay away from it as much as you can. When this time comes around, most of the traders worldwide are trying to actually close their positions because obviously we are going into the weekend. So if you decide to stay in that particular position, you might end up, seeing price coming to your stop loss and it finally takes you out. So what I'd advise you do is actually do not hold your trades through this evening or afternoon session when it comes to the New York session on Fridays. So try and avoid these as much as you can. Trust me, take my word, or start monitoring price during these times of the day and you're going to realize that what I'm saying right now is exactly how things happen in the market. Okay, so now let's come to the big reveal that I promised you guys at the beginning of this video. Now, when it comes to the right time or the best time to trade, in my opinion, I suggest that if you're in the US, you trade 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. that is Eastern Standard Time. Then when it comes to someone who is in Europe or maybe you're in Africa or Asia, I would highly suggest you actually trade 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. UTC time. So this is the best time to actually catch those good moves in the market. So if you're, let's say, going to work, this is the time you place your trade and close the charts and go move on with your work day normally at your workstation. So this is what I recommend you actually do. Well, I believe that if you follow each and everything that I've shared in this video, obviously this is going to make you a better trader. But now in the comments, let me know, what is your best session to trade? Is it the London session? Is it the New York session or Asian session? Let me know in the comments, because maybe this could be able to help someone out there, especially if they're in your region where you live. Now, if you're someone who is contemplating on whether you should go full-time as a trader or stay at your work doing a 9-to-5 job and also trade, this video right here will enable you understand exactly the right things you need to consider before you actually make the switch to become a full-time trader.